This is the light in my stairwell. It used to, I don't know whether you can see it or not. I think when it broke off. But down here, you can see the little loop right there. That was where the cord went through. That's how we always worked our light. I decided to put in a couple three-way switches, one at the bottom and one at the top. I'm going to do it with that channel. So I've got the base set up. I got that piece of channel, and then it goes over, and then it goes down. Because there's a difference in the plane from here to here, I cut a long, thin piece of wood. That'll get painted eventually. So the wire's going to come up and go over to that switch. And then I've still got to right here put in a T and go straight up to that light. And of course down here you can see the other base for the switch. Now on wood you can just screw it in, but this is drywall, so what I came up with is I'm just using some number 8x1 sheet metal screws, but I'm putting a bead of caulk. In fact, I think you can see there's a little bit leaked out right there. You put a bead of painter's caulk on and then push it against the wall and then use the screws to hold it in position. For caulk, I'm using Dynaflex 230 in my Ryorbi caulker. And I've just got some supplies here. I've got more coming. That's going to be for the light on top. And those are the connectors. There's some wire. And then I got a little bit of, that was 14.2. That's 14.3. And here is the wiring diagram that I got off the internet at Do-It-Yourself Help. Because my power's up at the light, and then it's got to go down to the two switches, and then I just, because my printer's black and white, I just colored it in. So to be able to reach that light, I got my adjustable ladder and got it angled, as you can see. And then I've had these for quite a while. I've done many projects with them. It's a couple 2x6s with just some blocking to hold it in place so that you can stand on it. So I've got the strip caulked. So now I've got to get it up into position, which would be a little bit higher than that, right about there. So with that screwed to the wall, now I've just got to straighten that up with the level right here and screw it in and then let the caulk set up. So there's that 5-foot piece in, all the way up there. And there's the backer plate to smooth the transition. It's just too much work to bend it like that. That transition will work. And it's an old house, and it's just a stairway switch. So since this light is going to be switched with 2 3-way switches, I don't need a base with a pull chain. So I'm using these bases that you can buy at Home Depot that I've got in the kitchen. And they work out quite well. And then for paint, my dark bronze metallic from Rust-Oleum, that's what I've used on all the other bases. And when you're happy with it, I think I need to get the rim a little better. There we go. So I'll just let that dry. So at this point I've got the old fixture down. So there's the original box. That was put in sometime in the 60s. I got to cut away part of that molding so that I can get the corner piece in. So let's give that a try. There we go. That's got to get glued in. So, got the caulk gun, got this piece. I'm not going to put any screws up there because that is wallpaper over horsehair plaster, and I really don't want to touch that. Come on. So let's see if I can get this put up. Not fall down the stairs. There we go. Okay, the last piece has got to go up right there. I bought 3 5-footers. I'm sorry, 4 5-footers. However, I'm going to have to piece this together. I'm not going to buy a another 5-footer for a 3-inch piece. Just going to call that good. Now what we've got here is the base for the light. That hole there and that hole there I had to drill out because the screws have to go through instead of threading in the way the rest of them do. And this is a number 8 by 32 1.5-inch truss head. That is going to give me enough height that I can screw that plate into on that plate. It's an older or not plate but box. It's an older box, and the screw pattern or the distance between the 2 screw holes is different than a modern one. So that's why I had to do a little modification, but luckily this plate has all kinds of holes and you can make it fit just about anything. And I got that cut out right there with those lineman's pliers so that I can run the wire through, because it's going to come along like that and go into the box. And at this point in time I've got the base on and the start of the wire, and I got the first chunk of the cover snapped on. So I've got 2 wires. I got that little black one, and then up inside I got that white one. That is going to go to the light or light base. Well, that's what I've got so far. I'm over to the first bend, and then the outside corner. Then I've just got to snap it in and run all the way down. So at this point in time, I'm just feeding the wire down the channel, and you got to make sure that it isn't rolled. That's the big thing. Make sure that it's not rolled. And when you get it, you just snap it in. That's the easy part. Getting everything else set up, that's the hard part. Especially when you're working on staging on a staircase. So these are what's called a Despard switch. They were developed in the 30s, 40s. This is a reproduction because it's Underwriter Laboratories, and so that's your switch part. You got black and two coppers. Now with the Despard cover, you get this plate. So I put the plate on. Those little tabs right there, that's the important thing. So you put your switch and push it into the plate. Now what you got to do, if you can see, I've got to take that little tab and I've got to bend it up. I can hold it, try to do it freehand, and get it to engage the bar. It goes into that slot, and if you get it right, there you go, got it. So with that pressed up, that little bar right there goes into that slot. Now that switch is locked in solid. So now I'm going to start to wire up the lower switch, because that's going to be the primary. Now the wire that I ran from up there and all the way down to here is the 14.2. Now if you look here, power, and then my 14.2 runs along there. So that's my primary switch, and the one upstairs is going to be my secondary. So the primary has the black wire going from the light up and around, and it goes to the common on the switch. And then from there on, I've got to get the 3 conductor 14.3 and run that from down here up there to that light, or that box that you saw earlier. So after I got that 14.2 wire down, and according to the diagram I've got it wired up correctly, assuming that that's correct. So next, put that back in. Alright, you're not gonna, I gotta take my 12 or 14.3. Alright, got that. There we go. So I'm gonna have to take my stripper and strip back a section. And that opens that up. So I got ground, I got white, I got red, and I got black. That's your 3 conductor. There. So then, each one of these has got to be stripped I'm going to strip back about an inch or so. I got to make connections. There. And black wire has got to connect to the white wire give me some lineman's pliers here. Put that wire knot on. So with the white from the 2 conductor to the black of the 3 conductor, next we take the red and go to one of the connectors, or one of the attachment points on the switch. And the white wire goes to the other side. So that ought to be fairly easy to do. Where's my screwing driver? I think the hardest part of getting this together are these special little screws right there. Well, you can getting them to hook in. Wires and stuff's in the way, and the first one is miserable. There. Now this blue wire, that's got to go up to the secondary switch. I'm designating this one as primary. And this wire goes up to the light. So I put this corner piece in first. I don't know whether you're supposed to or not, but it held my wires. So now I've got this that I've got to slide under this by just a little bit. There is a little area right there that stops you sliding the piece on. It kind of goes together like that, but it won't go any farther. We'll slide in. There. Like that. And that part's done except for putting the cover plate on. I've got an original 1940s Despard plate to go on here to match the plates that we put in the living room. I want you to take a quick notice. It's the 2 conductor, the 3 conductor. If you get them just right, they set side by side so that you can put the top cover on. You can't put them one on top of the other. They've got to set side by side like that. Now here's a little bit of a problem right here, that this is too short because this is so close to there that when I take this and put it up there, see, it's going to be right against that. In fact, that's got to get cut off just a little bit. See, normally you would use that, except that's just not going to work at all. So I think when I get the blue wire up here, I'm just going to chop a little bit off there and then just put the channel on there and take that that outside corner back. I don't see any other way to do it. So now it fits, because I took this little tiny piece and cut it off with a hacksaw. So now it'll set up against that. Then I can put the channel right there and it'll butt up against it. So I think that'll work for this unusual situation. Well, I got that T installed. That was not fun. I ended up on this blue cable. I put a electrical staple in to hold it so that I could get that tight bend, because it just didn't want it without some persuasion. So here's the end of my 15-foot cable. And I got this set up so that that'll just snap on like that. Generally, the difference between the top and the base is about 1 3/4 inches, because hooking on to the connectors at each end. So now I'm ready to put the secondary box on, or wire it up, I mean. Now, according to the wiring diagram, the red wire goes on one side of the switch 2, the white wire goes onto the other side, and down at the bottom you get the black wire. So that is those two, that black screw right there. So let's wire this up. And the secondary switch is now wired. I have added a coupler clip right there, but here I'm missing one. I thought I had two. So I guess I'm going to have to buy a kit, because in a kit you get screws and wire holders, but they only give you 2 clips and you can't buy the clips separately, which is kind of dumb, because you might have to buy a half a dozen packages just to get enough clips if you're running a long distance. So I made the final connections, the black to the 2 cable, the white up into the wall or the ceiling, and then I put a 60-watt Cree LED 5000 Kelvin. You know, looking at that, I'm almost thinking that base I should have left it white. Yeah, I probably should have left it white. But is it going to work? Because I got the power on. Yep, it works. So I just got to go downstairs and hit the other one. So let's see if the bottom one works. And it does. Well, definitely repainting that base to white improved the look of it. That was definitely a mistake, doing the bronze like I did in the kitchen. The last thing I have to do before I put that Bakelite faceplate on is to color match this to the wall. Now what it is Valspar Signature, and it is called Antique. So I've just got to put this on. It'll kind of make it blend, hopefully. It won't stand out like a sore thumb. May take a couple coats, don't know. The last thing to do is put the cover plate on. So that's the cover plate, and you can see it's a 91041 brown. It's a Bryant. Now they come either vertical or this one is horizontal. See the difference. Now they come with these little itty bitty screws. I've never been able to get those screws to work. They're just too small. So I bought some packages of, and they're brown tipped, but quite a bit longer. You can see that they are a good deal longer. And that allows me to get them started and tighten them down. So there you can see that the brown tipped Amarel screws work very well. Now I didn't give you a part number in case you want to do it. There it is right there. They're a little bit hard to find, and they're a touch long, but I'd rather have them too long than too short. So that pretty much takes care of the setup. Now I can set that stuff down and go up the stairs here a little bit and show you. There's the switch. It comes down, it comes over, there's the T, goes down to the primary switch. You can see that I've got it all painted. I got the wood painted. Up it goes, over and over and into the light. And that is my 3-way hallway light switch installation.